Here we go.
The voice of the American patriot. It's the Sam Malone Show. AM 1070. The Answer.
Coffee be percolating through my veins right now. I haven't had coffee in a while, so we were out late last night.
So you're cheating. So you're doing it on a Tuesday instead of Wednesday, Mr. Malone.
Well, and then Kyle brought in. You have Dunkin' Donuts and the liqueur thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So we're gonna have to do an injection there. We're gonna get the bag going.
A caffeine sugar injection.
My wife bought that for the studio. She was like, you're gonna want it. All right.
And
all right, too many punchlines. No, just walk away from that. Too many punchlines. So my wife shows up and says, "Let's get to all right, wipe the smiles off your faces." There you go. Thank you. Making his first appearance in the show, formerly of our United States Army Special Forces, Brian Marsh stops by to join us. Former Green Beret. Brian, how you doing? Happy Tuesday, sir.
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show, Sam.
Good to have you. In a good mood? You fired up, getting ready for Christmas?
I'm fired up. I'm ready for the holidays.
Tell us about the trek of your life. First of all, they got you into the Army and took you to U.S. Army Special Forces. What got you there?
Well, I joined the Army back in 1986, and it's just a kind of a natural progression to me. I enjoy challenging myself, and Special Forces was just a good fit for me. It was a lot of guys that like to perform at a very high level.
No photo.
And that's what I like to do. I always like to challenge myself. I wanted to be among some of the best guys in the military, and that's where you go if you want to do that, and that's where I ended up.
Outstanding. And then when you finished up, what did you...
He's just killing time with his interview.
Did you pause it?
No. It's still recording. It's his show just had a blitz.
Do after that? What was the next phase of the Brian Marsh career?
Oh.
Well, I did 25 years in the Army and in Special Forces, and I retired back in 2012. After that, I went over to Afghanistan again as an advisor to our military forces over there. I did about 9 months to a year doing that, and I came back and started working for the government with special operations and basically a lot of awesome stuff, and then working in the survival engagement, escape room, and personal recovery. And then I went ahead and wrote a book called The Green Beret Pocket Guide, Terrorism Awareness and Personal Security, and opened a company where I help people that send individuals into areas of high risk. I help them to mitigate risk, and through understanding the area that they're in, having a situational awareness, and getting them up to date on all the hazards that are in the areas that they're traveling to.
Fantastic. With that said, I'm sure that your phone rang off the hook with people who are worried, sir, about that Muslim slaughter of the innocent that took place in San Bernardino. SEER training obviously is for pilots and things like that we hear about. There's not a lot of civilian training for what to do when hits the fan blades.
Sure, and that's one of the reasons that I wrote the book, because we press this kind of training in the military so much, especially in special operations and aviation, any type of job where you're going to find yourself behind enemy lines. But when you're talking to the average civilian, or even in the military, the average soldier, they don't necessarily get that training. And in a lot of times, those are the guys that find themselves, especially in the asymmetrical war that we're in right now, they're the ones that find themselves captured or put into situations where they're in harm's way and they don't have the training to deal with those types of situations. And I wanted to bring that training to everybody, and that was my purpose behind writing the book.
And what do you tell people now? They saw the slaughter of the innocent. How do you get them into the mindset, Brian, to take your situational awareness and jack it up by 10,000 points?
The biggest thing is it's really about balance, man. The biggest thing is understanding, number one, we're at war. We can sit here and we can deny it all day. The administration can deny it. But the bottom line is this country's at war. We've been at war for a long time. The people that are fighting us, they're absolutely at war with us. They've declared war. They're doing everything they can do to kill us overseas and more recently in our own country. So we have to recognize it. We have to call it what it is. You know, you have to identify your enemy, and I think that's one of the biggest things right now is just identifying the fact that we are not at war with Islam, but we are at war with Islamic fundamentalism, and it's got to be said. So I think that's important, and it's something that has to be recognized before we can move forward.
No doubt about it. Brian Marsh, former Green Beret, joining us on the show, and you said, yeah, we're at war with these, you know, these radical Islamists. But the commander-in-chief, that was your boss, and you were in the Army. But your boss, let's say you worked under Obama, doesn't have the guts to say it. What kind of message does that send down to the men down the line?
You know, a lot of it's about political correctness. You know, and political correctness is killing this country. I really believe that. It's something that we really need to take seriously because
Sam likes
you
it.
have to call things for what they are if you're gonna recognize what they are and fight them. You just ignore the elephant in the room and you don't identify it for what it is. You're never going to defeat it. You know, you can go all the way back to the Art of War, and it tells you the same thing. This isn't new information. So, you know, whether you're talking about releasing prisoners at Guantanamo Bay for political correctness or not calling the enemy what they are, it's all political correctness. It doesn't make any sense. It's something we need to stop doing. We need to be honest with ourselves and identify who we're fighting. And on the other hand, we're not at war with Muslims. You know, and I think it's important that the Muslim population, particularly, they've been, you know, they've had such a bad light put on them from this small group of individuals. They really need to stand up and start speaking up for themselves and against those type of people.
True that. Author and former Green Beret Brian Marsh on the show. And I only wish that the president spoke as clearly, as articulately, and honestly as you, Brian. And we don't have that. And it's got everything in a Charlie Foxtrot right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Amazing. Let me jump over to this battle with ISIS. First of all, the president calls it ISIL for his own horrible reasons. But we have a battle with these guys. They don't wear uniforms. They hide amongst the civilian population. They slaughter the civilian population. Is our strategy right now in battling ISIS, in your opinion, as a former Green Beret, a correct strategy, a strong strategy?
No, absolutely not. I absolutely disagree with the strategy. You know, he's trying to put a very small signature. In my opinion, you're putting guys in harm's way, and you're not giving them the tools that they need to fight the war that they need to fight to destroy our enemy. Our enemy right now is ISIS. If you're going to send guys, don't send 50 special operations guys over. Send a 10,000-man force, boots on the ground, and take care of these guys once and for all. You know, we have an opportunity here that we're not taking advantage of. Generally, when you're talking about Al-Qaeda, you're talking about cellular structures of an enemy where they're working in 1, 2, 3-man cells. They're wearing civilian clothes. They're very hard to identify. In the case of ISIS, you're talking about guys that are riding around in 4x4s and wearing uniforms. These guys are taking over cities in Iraq. It's not that difficult. You need to get boots on the ground. You need to get in there, and you need to neutralize these guys once and for all. We have the ability to do it. It just takes the fortitude to get in there and get it done.
Brian Marsh joining us, wrote the book, Green Beret Pocket Guide to Terrorism Awareness and Personal Security. One final question. I have never had the honor to serve in our military, but I have a little bit of street smarts to know that you don't tell people when special forces are coming in. The president loves it and has done it. Well, we're sending 50 special forces, soldiers in there. It's got to be like banging your head on the wall when the commander-in-chief is telling everyone that the quote-unquote secretive guys are coming.
Yeah, it kills me when the administration does that. It goes against everything in my being a military man and growing up in understanding that you don't show your hand. You don't let people know what you're going to do before you do it. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why we're doing that,
right.
Especially when you're sending such a small signature of guys. So now you're targeting individuals, you're putting them in harm's way for what? So that you can say that you sent some forces over? It doesn't make any sense.
Amazing. Former Master Sergeant, United States Army Special Forces, Brian Marsh, wrote the book, The Green Beret Pocket Guide to Terrorism Awareness and Personal Security. You are welcome anytime you want to come on this show, Brian. Anytime. I mean, We're on 7 to 10 every day. Great job. Pick up the phone, jump in the conversation.
Sam, I'd love to be on your show anytime. Just ask me on and I'll be there.
You got it, boss. You have a great, blessed day and a Merry Christmas, sir.
You too. Happy holidays.
Will do. Happy holidays. Quick break. Sam Malone Show, AM 1070, The Answer.